Good morning, everybody. First of all, before I start my presentation, I would like to say thank you to Professor Vrabeľová for actually organizing this event. We met a few years ago, and actually from time to time we see each other for the conferences which he organizes, and he does it like very well. So keep it this way because you are our inspiration, and we can always learn from you. So thank you very much. And second things, today I am going to speak about one-hour task, which is related to the project from Vrabeľová Fund. And the title of my presentation is the Framework of the Quality 4.0 Model. We prepared this presentation together with two of my colleagues. Hanna Pacheva is the head of our office, and Andrea Šutová, she's a colleague from another faculty, from Faculty of Metallurgy and Recycling. They won't be here today, so I am supplementing them, both of them. Before I start to talk about our task, actually, and this presentation, I would like to introduce myself. I have been working at the university since 2006. I am working mostly with the requirements of quality management system, ISO 9001. And recently also with the standard AS 9100, which is not ISO standard, but it's a standard for the aviation, defense, and the space. And I am also involved in project management. A few years ago I had a chance to prepare and to be the part of the implementation team of some structural funds. But last few years, like Slovakian and our university is not involved to so many projects like it was before. So I keep my knowledge and my work at national and international projects. So just very quick introduction. Our department is basically divided into two sections. It's safety and quality as well. We provide three main processes: education, also the cooperation with enterprises and research. When I speak about cooperation with enterprises, it's mostly about consulting, about preparing documentation and so on. If I mention education, it's actually education on three different levels. The first is bachelor degree, where we provide safety and quality program. The second is safety of technical systems, and the third PhD study is safety and quality. The projects which are on these slides are projects which are running right now currently in our department. The first two projects are a national project. The first one is about the smart enterprises and about the safety management systems. The second one is a project which I already mentioned. It's a project where we implemented the requirements for quality management system in aviation, space and defense industry. I'm not sure if you are familiar with this standard, but it's not a new one, but it's not very common in Slovakia. There are 9 organizations in Slovakia compared to, for example, Czech Republic, where you have like 63 companies with in this system, and they are actually the system which helps you or actually gives you the possibility to provide products and services for the space, for aviation and defense as well. And the last project which I mentioned is project which we are working together with Slavek, with Professor Vrabeľová, and also with my colleagues from Zlín. And it's a project from Vrabeľová Funds. Our department is basically participating at those tasks, but we are also in charge on 3 tasks, and one of those tasks is evaluation of competence needs in the enterprises. And the aim of this task is actually to find out what competencies are needed in industry which operates with quality 4.0. And I'm not sure how it is in Poland or in Czech Republic, but in Slovakia, even if you have the companies which work in automotive industry, you could see the difference if we talk about automatization, if we talk about quality 4.0. So we knew from the beginning that the level of the quality 4.0 will be different. And the aim of this task is basically to find out what they are going to need from our students, for example, to make sure that our students are going to provide their requirements. So we decided to create questionnaire and to do interview with the companies. And of course, the first step was, okay, how we are going to do it? This was probably the basic question. So we were trying to do some research, to go through some literature and find out if someone has ever do something like this. And of course, after today, I would have probably different opinion. But the basic models which we saw and we actually checked, the first one is the Quality 4.0 model, which you are maybe familiar with. And this model is provided by Duran, and the model divides the organization into three different parts: processes, technology, and people. The second model which we checked and we wanted to use, or we wanted to be inspired by, was the model which described different level of the digitalization maturity. And we saw today that, of course, in the Poland companies you use different tools how to do it, but this was the model which actually we wanted to take and we wanted to use. The third model, which somehow inspired us, was a model which was already today performed by Professor Nenadal, the model about the quality 4.0 maternity. And this model also divides the organization into four different perspectives. So those models were actually probably the biggest inspiration for us to do it and to find out and to create the questionnaire. But we had a lot of discussion about that, how to do it, because we wanted to do it user-friendly, and of course we were limited, and we are still limited with the time. So at the end of all our discussion, we decided to combine two different models. And I hope Professor Nenadal will still be my friend after everything what I am going to say. So we combine standard of ISO 9001 as well as the pillars of Industry 4.0. The reason why we did it is that my colleague is going to speak about it today. We already have experience with the questionnaire related to Industry 4.0. So we somehow know how to do it, how to evaluate, how to assess. And also the second reason why we chose ISO 9001 is that actually part of our job is to help organizations to implement quality management system according to ISO 9001. So we created questionnaire. This questionnaire is divided into two different parts. The first part is only the basic information about the company, type of the company, about the people. And the second are questions which are related to the requirements of ISO 9001. And each our respondent must answer those questions and choose one alternatives. First alternative is, okay, we are not planning to implement pillars of I 4.0 into this area. Into this area means into the particular certain chapter requirement of ISO 9001. The second is P, which means we are planning to implement pillars of I 4.0. Then is D, so we are already implementing pillars of 4.0. C is, okay, we are doing it, we have implemented, but not for 100%. And the last one is that we are done and we have already implemented those pillars into this area. Of course, as I have mentioned, we had one condition that all those companies must have ISO 9001 implemented to be sure that, okay, they know what we are asking for, they have experience with internal audits, they know the requirements and so on. And those pillars, which I mentioned, are pillars which you probably know as well, like the regular one. we took 10 pillars, the one we excluded, it's a new business model, and to make it more quantitative and more useful for the next research, we also put different scales. So the scale is from 0.0 until 0.9, just to know and to quantify what kind of level the organization can achieve. So as I have mentioned, this is the first part of the questionnaire. So just the basic information, and the rest are regular questions according to those chapters, to those requirements of ISO 9001. This is only the sample, and as you could see, each respondent can answer those questions and can also put the alternative which they use or they use in the companies and in the organization in their processes. As you could see, the scale, the weight, and also the pillars which they must be checked. To be honest with you, like, we have not spread the questionnaire yet because our task started in the beginning of May, but we should deliver the questionnaire and the answers until the end of July, I think. So we do not have too much time, and plus, like, we have, it's not a limitation, it's our goal, to spread the question at least to 5 different companies in each country, which helps us to do benchmarking between countries, between different sectors, and also between the different levels and different types of the organization. We have total 40 questions, so it's maybe like little bit too much, but we wanted to cover each requirement at least with one question. And we didn't want to skip anything and to avoid. Even those we have in the questionnaire questions which they don't have to use, because you know that some companies, for example, they don't provide research and development, so they usually skip. Even if you do certification, if you do internal audits, you just don't ask them, you don't evaluate because it's irrelevant. So those questions can be skipped, but instead of this, each organization needs to go through every question which is in the questionnaire. So as I have said, the first thing is to get information from at least 15 companies. If we are going to achieve more companies, good for us. We will have more data to value, and also then we can define the level of pillars I40 which are implemented in the organization. And these results and actually this analysis can also help us with another task which is related in the project. And with this task, where we need to find out the competencies, or actually the information which students can learn in the schools, in the universities. So, and then we can also compare not only what they need to learn and what they need to know, but also what organization require from them. So what is their demands. So I think this is everything from me so far. So thank you.